Well, I started photography years ago with film. It works well. It works well because the images that you create, the colors, the system it's what they call, it's linear, which means that an image from very light to very dark, it's a continuous flow. Digital is a whole new science, and what happens is, just like a newspaper, it's all dots. So the kind of flow that you get from black and white or from the old color system, this is a whole new science. We're now dealing with dots. And the problem is that, just like a newspaper, these dots don't make a pretty image. So the trick is to get a continuous visibility to make those dots go away, if that's possible. So you develop techniques over time by not necessarily more megapixels, as everybody talks about, all these wonderful megapixels. That's only part of this story. You gotta have a good clean image, and then mathematically, if you're gonna enlarge it, mathematically, you can do that by keeping those dots as small as possible while the image becomes larger. And to a point, I've been able to do that. And that gives you an interesting image. And then you start doing variations, as I've done by going to watercolor paper, which softens the image. You don't get the harsh colors. And there are times you don't want harsh colors, you want softness. It makes a prettier picture. It depends on where you are and what you're doing, of course. And what you're looking at here, a softer color is more pleasing, I think, to the eye. That's it in a nutshell. It's all about the light, because without the light, you're not going to get any of this. Okay, so you got to watch the light. And that can change quickly. It's different in the morning than it is in the evening. These were shot because I liked what I saw. And these all have been printed the traditional way as a sharp image, very colorful. And then one day I decided I didn't like it anymore. I wanted to do something a little different. And I came up with the idea of going to watercolor paper because the rate of absorption of the ink is very different from standard photographic paper. You need a printer that, number one, gives you all the colors, and not all printers can do that. So you need a printer that produces at least a 6-color version. And you don't want you want the ink to be absorbed rather than sit on top of the paper. Now, if the image is good, it doesn't matter how you produce it. You know, it's a good image, it doesn't change. It's the perception as to what you do with it. The one thing you can do, which you couldn't do before, I could look at something immediately and see what direction I ought to be going, you know? And I could make corrections. When I shot film, I'd go through 10, 20 rolls a day because I didn't know what the outcome was going to be, you know? I was experimenting in a way, so there was more work in the darkroom. Digital, you know pretty quickly whether you're on the right track or not. So you don't waste a lot of film. And you can go. On the other hand, sometimes it's nice to keep the rejects because you don't know what you're going to do with them. With digital, you tend to cast them aside. With film, you have another shot at it because parts of that image that you took could be useful for something else. If I walk somewhere and I look around me, all of a sudden something may catch my eye. Now, I'll take a photograph. When I look at the photograph, I may question afterwards, why did I stop? Was it really that good, you know? And if it turns out that it wasn't, well, then I get rid of it. you know, and I made it. But generally, if I stop because it was interesting, there's a reason, you know, there's something there that I should be working on. And I may have to make some changes in terms of the angle or the size or the detail, but basically the instinct was right. Sometimes it's not, you know, so that's a gamble.